Hi there, welcome to Island Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Gemini energy. And for this round of 12 zodiac sign readings, we are doing this 10 card spread. And we're going to get out an oracle card to see what that wants to add. And after we're done reading how different people could be handling this energy right now, we are going to get some cards out to ask what might be coming up that people don't see coming, depending on if they harness a more high vibrational Gemini energy or a more worldly or shadowy Gemini energy. We all have our dualistic nature, our more worldly, self-focused nature, and our more hopeful, believing, loving nature. And we have to make decisions in our life. Gemini talks about our dualistic nature. What is our truth? What is it that drives and motivates us? And life's about learning lessons and tempering our more shadowy nature, which can be our pride, our ego, our fear, our insecurity, our immature, indulgent, lustful, greedy, petty, envious, jealous, manipulative, blame everyone else for our problems. You know, we've all been there. And some people have learned to offer love to themselves and the past in order to be free of it, so it doesn't manipulate them anymore like the way it used to. And some people are still manipulated by certain things or ways of being or ways of viewing life. And we all kind of like to hang out with people who are kind of maybe on the same emotional maturity level as us. You know, to whatever degree of how we view relationships and love and what we think is just and fair, we kind of like to hang out with people who are on the same page as us. And, you know, sometimes we get in a more, we can get along with all sorts of people in the world and work together with them, visit with them out in the community. But to be in a more long-term relationship or more involved relationship, we kind of want people who are kind of motivated and inspired by the same things we are, kind of, you know, the ideas of what we think is just and fair and character and integrity or love or not love or money or status or ego or image. We kind of want to hang out with people who are on the same page as us. And we just need to see the truth about the different type of people we're dealing with. For the oracle cards, we have the crossroads. A new business, adventure, project, or career is currently in the works for you. And spiritual practice. Making time for your spiritual practice will assist you with clearing your mind and restoring your inner peace. So the crossroads card makes me think of the Two of Swords, which is where we can kind of feel stuck and we don't. It's Libra energy of what we think is just and fair. And if we try to calm our mind and listen to our intuition and have hope and faith and belief in our dreams, it will help us navigate. So I view this card as the overarching reason for the reading. And here we have the Two of Swords and the person holding the Five of Swords and the 5, the 6, and the 7. And we start out with the 7 of Swords. It's all Aquarius energy, which is kind of about our dreams. What is our idea of the dream life? What's our idea of the dream relationship? You know, are we willing to listen to our intuition and in truth and love move forward in a more balanced way with the 6 of Pentacles? And are we willing to stand up for what we believe in? If we're going to move forward like that, we would have to detach from harnessing this energy in a more worldly, shadowy way, which is the Page of Pentacles, which can be our more worldly focused nature or our more codependent nature and our more immature nature. We'd have to get out of being more codependent on the world and thinking we only have these things of the world to work with or making our life more about those things of the world. And we'd have to look at life from a higher perspective, keep things in perspective. And some of you are doing that. And then with this card not showing itself, what some people don't know about you is that you do kind of have that more hopeful, believing spirit. And you're also willing to be a student of life, because life is about learning lessons, and you're willing to get out of your ego. You have to humble yourself to be willing to learn lessons in life that maybe I didn't know everything I thought, and as I go through life, I learn these lessons. The Six of Swords moves away from the Five of Swords, which can be, we lived our life a certain way. We thought for sure that was living the dream. We were repeating maybe an old pattern. And we'll all repeat certain patterns in our life and ways of viewing life until kind of our intuition is telling us that if I keep repeating this old pattern and viewing life this way or living life this way, it's starting to cause me some mental conflict, because I might have learned everything I needed to learn at that phase of life. And it's time to face my fears, to believe that I am ready to go to the next stage of life. And we had to go through that process, age 15 going to 18, 18 going to 21, 21 going to age 25. We had to detach from our more immature ways of living life and viewing life, believe in ourselves, believe in our dreams, be willing to get out of our ego, put this work in to kind of balance ourselves out in the Six of Pentacles, that there was a way I lived life, there was a way I used to view life, but it's time for me to detach from that more immature, worldly, defensive, whatever way of life. And then at the end of the story here, we have the Magician, which is Gemini-Virgo energy. Virgo energy within all of us, if we choose to align with high vibe Virgo energy, is about learning these lessons. We go through phases of life, we look at life a certain way, we view life a certain way, we feel certain ways about ourselves. Do we want to keep living our life like that? Or are we willing to learn lessons in life and incorporate the lessons that we've learned into how we make decisions moving forward? Because the Six of Pentacles is Taurus energy, which has to do with our philosophy of life. We lived our life a certain way because that's how we viewed life. Well, we live our life that way. And then with the Hangman, we're moving forward in a certain way of viewing life. And for a long time, it can be great. We're living the dream. We're happy. But then there can come a time where we feel kind of stuck. Just living our life that way. And it's kind of, again, like our intuition. It's like, you're kind of ready. You've kind of learned. The Hangman can talk about being enlightened to the truth that we live our life at a certain stage of life. But as time goes by living our life in that way, we learn lessons in life, and we kind of come in contact with all these different people in the world, and we learn what drives and motivates them, what their dreams are, what inspires them, what inspires us. And, it all helps expand our perception of ourselves and the world around us, and other people view life differently than we view life. And, it's all this thing of Pisces energy of the Hangman of, are we willing to look at life differently? Are we willing to keep believing in ourselves and believing in our dreams and listening to our intuition? And if we've been moving forward in a certain way of life, when we start to feel stuck in that way of life, we could kind of realize that the reason we might keep repeating that old pattern is because we have fear of listening to our intuition and having hope and faith and belief in ourselves. And if we decide we are going to, I do look at life differently. I don't look at life the same way I did a year ago or 3 years ago or 5 years ago. I'm not the same person I was then, because I did move forward in life. I did have hope and faith and belief in my dreams. And I thought I was on the right path. And I thought this was my truth. And I come in contact and probably get in workplaces, friendships, and relationships with people. I think we're all on the same path. Think we're going in the right direction. And we all could be going in the right direction. Some people are on the same page as us. Some people do still are willing to look at life from other people's perspectives, try to see things from other people's perspectives, are willing to get out of their more fearful nature, immature nature, codependent nature, and they're willing to learn lessons along with you. And the people in your life who are like that are the people you're going to keep exchanging. The Pentacles can talk about exchanging time, energy, and effort with people in the 3D world. But there might be some people in our life that they don't seem to be interested in maybe looking at life from any other perspective. And they might just not be ready to move forward in life differently. We're all willing to face our fears. It's just like you can be at a workplace, right? And people can be working there and everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's like living the dream. I love it here. But then there can come a point where some people are like, there's some things about this that are starting to cause me mental conflict. I don't know if my dream can come into reality here. And over the course of this job, I've learned new skills and I've learned to have a little more hope and faith and belief in myself. And, I kind of think if there's no opportunity for things to change here, where things seem stuck and it doesn't seem like the dream's going to come into reality or no room maybe for advancement in a way, that's when some people decide to move forward and go look someplace else for a job. And there might be other people, in using the example of a job, they're not ready to do that, and it might be a little bit of their fear and their insecurities and things like that, right? Well, the same thing can happen in friendships and romantic relationships and even family dynamics. Some people are ready to kind of move forward differently. Some other people aren't. And again, with most people, it's not a big deal. Well, you do your life and, brothers, sisters, friends, whatever, and colleagues and work people. Well, you do your life and I'll do my life. And generally everybody can be okay with it. Well, that's your truth and you're ready to do that. You should do that. And people can be loving and encouraging of people. I might be happy living my life the way I live it or staying at a certain job and other people aren't. It's more of a problem if it is people that we have a close type of relationship with and we'd really like them to be willing to move forward with us. And if some of the people in our life are like, no, I'm not willing to do that, well, then we really have a struggle because we could be inspired to want to do life differently. And some other people in our life could be saying, if you go do that, even like in friendships, like, well, I know we've done this and we usually do this, but I would like to go try this. Do you want to go try that? And let's go hang out and do this. And they're like, no, let's just keep doing the same things that we've been doing. I don't even have an interest in doing that. It's like, oh, well, that sucks, And you'd kind of wish people had that more, maybe in the Page of Wands, that more hopeful, believing spirit to maybe go try new things. And some people are like, well, I don't even know if I'd like it and I'm not even going to bother, and I'm going to stay back here and I'm going to keep doing this. And then it causes us mental conflict because there was things in the King of Cups that I could have used to enjoy doing, but I just don't find them maybe as emotionally fulfilling anymore. And I want to go manifest new things, do you want to come with? And the other people are like, no. If you want to go do that, then, we might not be friends anymore. And worse, we could have people in our life that basically, if you go do things different or love and believe in yourself or go hang out with other people, then I don't even want to be your friend anymore, and it's like, gee, crickets, Let's go look at what this card is. The Four of Wands. So the Four of Wands can talk about wanting to come together with people in joy and celebration. And in high vibe, it's fire sign energy of Aries. You want to maybe be in relationships with people who are more inspired to kind of detach from kind of living life the way they've always lived it and kind of letting those things manipulate them to a degree where it stops them from trying new things. And you might start to feel that, I don't know, some people are more immature or more about themselves. And if you sometimes it can feel like you're loving and encouraging and trying to help other people feel more balanced within themselves, look at life differently, have hope and faith and belief in themselves. But, until they choose to do that within themselves, they're still kind of in the same energy that they're in. And initially, we can not mind being that type of person in someone's life, but eventually, we would like to be in a relationship with some people who, are kind of more on the same page as us. I don't always want to have to be trying to be loving and encouraging and supportive for you to love and believe in yourself and feel more balanced within yourself. And especially if they kind of want to kind of be more indulged, maybe hiding that they're a little bit more about themselves. Like, I like being in relationships where people do that work and effort with me, but I never invest in harnessing that energy within myself, because Aries energy is about the self. And some people are just looking to move forward with people where it's like, how about you look at life differently? How about you be loving and encouraging? How about you maintain balance within yourself? And I get to be in a relationship with you. But I don't do the work to get more balance within myself. I don't maybe do this work within myself to ever look at life any differently. But I like to be in relationships with, it's like always being around someone who's always loving and encouraging and supportive of you, but you don't do the work within yourself to be in that energy. And some people kind of operate more, living more from their mind and their heart. Shadowy Hangman and shadowy Seven of Swords can be, people view life a certain way, and this could be how they view life and how they view relationships. No, I don't have to invest in myself. I go get in relationships with people who invest in me. And then I move forward with them. But they could always kind of stay in a lack mentality. Like, some people operate from a foundation, living more from their mind than their heart, feeling stuck, unwilling to look at life from any other perspective. Maybe don't really want to put in work and effort to get more balance within themselves, but they want to be in relationships and exchange time, energy, effort, hugs, and kisses with people. But they're kind of more motivated and inspired, which I don't want people to know, where they're a little bit more about themselves and their needs getting met. I don't want to have to work through my issues to be a more balanced person, to really do equal give and take with you. Because love is supposed to be where you treat other people the way you like to be treated. And some people are like, oh, that's not my truth. I kind of operate from being more about me, and I don't want to see the truth that I'm supposed to put work and effort to get more balance within myself. And when you are more about yourself, you're either being truthful and honest and authentic and just and fair and treating other people the way you like to be treated, because that is the truth of who you are. You're more balanced within yourself, and you've learned these lessons in life, and you've grown up and matured yourself, and you're not more about yourself. But if you're not in that energy, there are people, again, who don't really want to do love, because love is supposed to be just and fair, and learning lessons in life. And, because love is the environment that we can all grow and mature ourselves in. And some people are like, well, no, I don't do that within myself. I look to get in relationships with other people. They're supposed to, make that happen for me. And that would be more codependent energy. And I look outside of myself, either to the world, drugs, alcohol, getting in relationships, outside of myself for the answer. I don't think the answer is me loving myself. Like I kind of mentioned, the Magician card is Gemini and Virgo energy. And in high vibe, it's where you see the truth, because Gemini is air sign energy of the mind, but it's about our dualistic nature of what our truth is. And some people think, I kind of think I can just present myself as loving, and like I'm more enlightened to the truth than I really am, and I can hide that I'm kind of more worldly focused, self-focused, materialistic, self-indulgent focused, something in my earth sign energy of self, and I'm kind of more about myself, and don't maybe really trust people, don't really believe in love, fear of being manipulated, don't really want to operate from a foundation of love. I like to use my emotions and maybe my charm and my looks and my charisma and my social status or my money, whatever I got, in order to try to manipulate people to get them to do what I want. And so that's where, the kings can just represent how people present themselves in the world. Because when we go take action in the world, it's considered masculine energy. And then the feminine energies can talk about more about how we really think and feel. And are we more aligned with our more emotionally immature, manipulative nature? Or have we learned lessons in life to temper our more, become independent of our more emotionally immature nature, to have learned and been enlightened to the truth that it's about equal give and take, and I shouldn't wear a false mask. That's not just and fair. But that's how some people view life. I don't want to do love. I don't authentically want to operate from a foundation of love, because in my free will, and the Ten of Swords is Gemini energy, I have the free will, if I want to be a more loving, hopeful, believing person and operate from a foundation of love, treat other people the way I like to be treated, not try to manipulate and control people and be more about myself. Or I can put an end to that because I am more manipulated by my mind, by my fear, by my past pain and heartbreak, by my self-limiting beliefs. And I choose to wear a false mask. I try to present myself as loving so other people will get in a relationship with me. And some people have been doing that, and it doesn't work out the way they think. Because they're unwilling to be more authentic. And it's more of a mental strategy to try to manipulate and control people by offering them these things of the world that they have. I'll have sex with you. Look, I'm attractive. Look at what I wear. Look at what I drive. Look what kind of job, what power, influence, whatever I have. You should stay in a relationship with me. And people can get in relationships with them, and they move forward in a relationship, and we can all have gotten in relationships or got a new job because something else didn't work out and we kind of felt a little stuck. But some people got in relationships having hope and faith that there'd be equal give and take and love, and that people would be more authentically themselves. And they wanted to manifest in truth and love. And then they move forward with people, and as time goes by, they kind of realize that's not the truth of the other person. And there could be some people, still putting in work and effort to maintain balance in a relationship. And then there's some people, it's like, I don't want to do a more balanced relationship. I want to exchange resources or time, energy, effort, hugs and kisses with you, but I kind of like to be more deceptive or manipulative or more about me, or staying in the relationship more for these other reasons other than love. And if the other person keeps maintaining balance and isn't wearing a false mask, is being truthful and authentic and loving, the people who know that that really isn't their truth, they might indulge themselves in a relationship for a while or a long time. They might be hoping that eventually the other people will give up on their dreams of love. That's the Six of Swords and the Seven of Swords, Aquarius energy, having a dream. And they're hoping that eventually, if they keep exchanging time, energy, effort with them, hugs and kisses and all that stuff, that eventually the other people will put an end. As far as they could be concerned, some of the more worldly, shadowy people, they could think love's the illusion. Is this person going to get out of their illusion about love? If we move forward in a relationship, we'd look like shining stars. We could keep exchanging resources with each other. In Taurus energy, it could look very stable and abundant. And, it looks like, we got it going on. You should put an end to that illusion about love. This is good. Let's just do this. It might not be the dream we had when we were young, but that was immature. You should have given up on that dream a long time ago. I did. Now I'm kind of more inspired to just be in a relationship, to look like a shining star in the world, or just to be in a relationship. I could have given up on love a long time ago. And that could be their truth now. And everybody's probably went through some experiences in their life where they did have that more hopeful, believing spirit, and they moved forward with people and things didn't work out the way they wanted, and they felt stuck. And instead of not to be inspired not to give up on their dreams, some people did. And they just gave up in believing in themselves and believing in love. And then some of them, just chose, I'm going to live more from my mind than my heart now. And I also don't want to get backstabbed and betrayed, and I might not trust anyone anymore. Well, that's too bad too. Because life is about learning these lessons, and some people haven't been willing to deal with the truth. Why did some of those relationships not work out the way we wanted? Are we willing to deal with the truth? Was I kind of stubborn, prideful, immature, wanting to be indulged, kind of deceptive and manipulative, fearful of being betrayed or backstabbed? How differently do you act in a relationship if you have fear? Because the reason I say that is because there's a maximum of 10 in every suit. So if you're Seven of Swords up in your head, you're thinking about the Three of Cups. And the Three of Cups can either be where you think people are working together with you from love, and some people are like, oh my God, I gotta go. I don't want to do love. That's the danger zone. This relationship's over. If I even start to think I'm thinking of letting go of my self-protective false mask nature, hiding behind my ego, to love and believe in this, I gotta go. That's the danger zone. I'm not willing to go there. So they have a lot of fear about, in the Three of Cups, that people, they fear other people aren't being authentic and honest, some of them. Other people, they know they like to emotionally manipulate people. And if they're in a relationship with someone who's motivated and inspired by truth and love, who loves and believes in themselves and is inspired by love, and they've been enlightened to the truth, and they've learned to listen to their intuition, then they know those people are going to want to do love. And it's like, oh, I got to go. And people can all want to get in relationships with people, and everybody can be trying to figure out what's their truth, what's my truth. Shadowy people already know they don't want to do love, or they know they're more about themselves, or they know they're more immature, or they know they're more prideful, egotistical, or self-centered. And they're trying to figure out if the person they're in relationships with, if they think they can get those people to give up on believing in their dreams. And maybe doing things during a relationship like testing them. I'm going to do this, which isn't aligned with moving forward in acting with character and integrity. I'm not going to invest in that. I'm going to do something that betrays love. I'm going to be hurtful. I'm going to be unkind. I'm going to be stubborn. I'm going to be prideful. I'm going to be egotistical. I'm going to be manipulative. If I keep doing that enough, and if that person keeps stopping kind of standing up for what they believe in, and they want to keep exchanging time, energy, and effort with me, I kind of start to get the idea that maybe you're kind of more codependent, and you're not willing to really kind of walk the talk of what you profess, because High Vibe Taurus is walking the talk. You might be someone who's motivated and inspired by love, but I don't know that you've really learned to love yourself, to stand up for what you believe in, and see the truth and distance yourself basically from me, because I'm not walking the talk. And if I think, and I do that enough, maybe eventually I can stop you from loving and believing in yourself. And shadowy manipulative energy, at the big picture represented by the devil, is someone who is trying to manipulate and control you for their own kind of selfish purposes, right? And some people could be doing that right now in a relationship. And that's why we should speak our truth and take action on our truth. When people are being immature, prideful, stubborn, hurtful, unkind, bossy, controlling, manipulative, we were given the gift of our intuition. Are we willing to speak our truth? I think that was unjust. That was unfair. It wasn't high vibe Gemini energy. You weren't being just. You weren't being fair. You weren't acting with character and integrity. You weren't treating me the way I treat you. You're not being loving. Am I willing to see the truth of it? And when people act like that, I quit investing and exchanging time, energy, effort, and hugs and kisses with them. Because my dream can't come into reality with someone who's not maintaining perspective and staying focused on truth and love. And if there's some people right now that if there's some shadowy people in the world, they could be trying to move forward with someone. They could look for people. Oh, look, there was someone who was exchanging resources with someone and it ended. They could feel like there's an end of love in their life. I bet they want to manifest a dream still. Well, I feel stuck in what I'm in or how I've been living my life. I'm going to hide that in my more worldly nature of self, I don't really believe in love, but I'm going to go present myself like I'm motivated and inspired by love. I'm going to see if I can deceive and manipulate someone, and I'll get in a relationship with them, and we could stay at this phase for a really long time. And they're just going to indulge in a relationship for as long as it lasts until the other people, because when we get in a relationship, from the Six of Swords to the Ten of Swords is the Four of Swords, which is Libra energy about healing, things from the past. And, we have to, about what we think is just and fair. We can all have a dream. We can all be attracted to other people. And then it's to get to know people, to find out what their truth is and what drives and motivates them, how they view life. Are they just? Are they fair? Are they loving? And, that can take time. And some people are like, as long as that time period is, I will indulge myself in it. When the time comes that the other people either want me to really bring the dream into reality and invest in it, oh, sorry, gotta go. Or the people are no longer caught up in the illusion of who I am, because as time has gone by, they're kind of seeing the truth that love isn't really what drives and motivates me. Oops, gotta go. And then they go back because they think this is living the dream, or this is going to make them happy, not doing love or making it more about themselves. But then they can kind of feel stuck again. And so then they go out to go find someone else who they think, oh, look, that didn't work out. I'll go indulge in a relationship with them and manipulate them for as long as it works out. And if there's someone that I can get to quit loving and believing in themselves, or maybe doesn't love and believe in themselves to begin with, perfect. We can keep moving forward in a relationship where I don't really have to do love. I'll maybe present myself as loving. I'll act like I'm loving. When we go out in the world, I'll treat you maybe like a loving person would treat someone they love, but not to really authentically walk the talk. It's more like, I'll have sex with you, I'll compliment you, I will work together with you, but I won't really emotionally, authentically invest in this relationship. And we can be in friendships and relationships with people for a long time, and there can be a lot of reasons why, we want to be friends with them and we can get along, and until it kind of does get to be where someone else has looked at life differently and they don't look at life the same way they used to, and they are definitely moving forward in life differently. And then it's kind of like, do you want to come with? You can come with, but I don't want to do this more fake superficial, or more about this or more about that. I want to work together with people who are motivated and inspired and have that hopeful believing spirit, that want to work with me cooperatively. Maybe I had a lot of mental conflict because Pisces is emotional water sign energy, and I view the King of Cups as Cancer energy. Some people are very loving, nurturing people, and they can get and stay in kind of imbalanced relationships because they do have this hope and faith and belief and love, and they love these people and they want it to work out, but they can stay in kind of imbalanced relationships where they're kind of indulging someone in their poor behavior. And they can do that for a real long time because they also have some, we'd all like the things that we do invest in to work. We'd rather not let go of that job, friendship, relationship and detach from it because we love them. We'd like it to work. So, and some people are counting on that. You keep putting in work and effort to make this work. That works for me. Especially if you're kind of indulging me in my immature nature or my ego or my stubbornness or being deceptive or manipulative and not really doing equal give and take with you. I'm good. We can keep staying in this relationship. For as long as you're willing to do an imbalanced relationship and keep indulging me that way, I'll keep staying in it. But even eventually the loving people can't keep backstabbing themselves, and they start to feel backstabbed, and they start to feel stuck. And they kind of do think about their dreams and the type of dream friendships and relationships and workplaces they'd want to be in. And they kind of do this inner work to wonder, why don't I invest in people who are more like that versus continuing to stay in what I'm in. And it's, we're all ready to deal with the truth when we're ready to deal with the truth. And the Hangman is about being enlightened to the truth and high vibe. And eventually people just can't keep deceiving themselves anymore. This isn't just and fair. People aren't being loving. And I can't stay in denial of it anymore because they either don't want me to love and believe in myself, and they want me to keep indulging them in their poor behavior out of my own fear or insecurity or codependency or not wanting to detach from them. But then they start to do this work to be inspired within themselves to work through their own mental conflict and why they would stay in these kind of situations and they do look at life from a higher perspective. And, do I feel like I'm being emotionally manipulated? Do I feel like people know that I have love for them, so then they think they can use the love that I have for them to kind of manipulate me and backstab me? And eventually people get to where I'm not willing to do that anymore. And, it is this thing about learning lessons and willing to invest the time, energy, and effort within yourself to feel more stable within yourself. The Three of Pentacles can be working together with people, but if you're someone who works together with people cooperatively that the Three of Pentacles talks about, you want to work together where there's equal give and take in a relationship, because you're both motivated and inspired to work cooperatively with other people. And you kind of see the truth. It's kind of a more shadowy Taurus relationship where it's a more transactional relationship instead of equal give and take and justice and fairness. And then from the 3 to the 1 pentacle is kind of letting go of the 2 of Pentacles, which could be, I kind of could have been juggling about staying or going, and eventually people do this work within themselves and get balance within themselves to deal with the truth. And then the 10s are kind of like a completion of a cycle that, and also from the 6 to the 10, taking back the 4 of Swords. There's some people in my life that have shown me the truth of who they are, and I can't heal a relationship with them to get justice and fairness because they're not motivated. Their truth isn't the same as my truth. What they think is just and fair is different than what I think is just and fair, because the 4 of Swords is Libra energy. Our truths are different. And so I see the truth that we're motivated and inspired like by different things, and I can't heal that relationship if they're not willing to work together with me in truth and love. I'm not going to stay in a relationship with someone who isn't motivated by love and out of love for myself and knowing my own worth and value. And I've kind of been feeling left out in the cold. From the 1 to the 6 is the 5 of Pentacles. And I don't want to keep moving forward with people who leave me out in the cold, make me feel left out in the cold, who act in these more prideful or hurtful or egotistical or manipulative ways of being. And I'm going to invest in being creative and inspired within myself to invest in myself and love and believe in myself to get balance within myself and detach from those people. And I don't want to be in relationships with people who are like that anymore. And then it's like, I've kind of learned that lesson. And I'm ready to look to the future and take slow, steady steps forward as I move forward. When I meet people who kind of remind me of people because they have these certain traits, qualities, and characteristics. Yep, nope, been there, done that. I'm going to keep moving on. There might be some people in the world who did act prideful, immature, didn't choose to take action to do equal give and take with you, didn't offer love to you. Some of those people, kind of in their ego, are thinking you still feel backstabbed and manipulated, and they're just waiting for you to stop loving and believing in yourself. And what they don't realize is that you no longer want to invest in being in a relationship with them. But when they're in shadowy energy, they're staying in denial of the truth and they're not seeing things clearly, that you don't want to be in a relationship with them anymore. And what they don't know about you is that you did invest in yourself to grow and heal and mature yourself and close out a cycle, because you realize that wasn't a way of interacting in the world with people that was aligned with your truth. And you're no longer going to make them an offer in love. And some of those people could just be realizing it now. or they will eventually. And that's when they'll probably realize that they were manipulated by their own ego or their own immaturity or their own being full of themselves. And it's like, oh shit, they moved on. Shit. You know, so when you complete a cycle, it's kind of like you learned a lesson. And I don't want to live my life like that anymore. And because you learned the lesson, the truth sets you free. And you're able to move forward to the next phase of life. It's kind of like you completed a grade in life school. You did, and they didn't. So, and there's still maybe whatever it is that manipulates them. Codependency, fear, insecurity, the world, living more from their mind than their heart, not listening to their intuition, not believing in themselves, not trusting in love. Those people are going to have to repeat an old pattern. And some of them are. And for some of them, you know, it's like, no, no, no. I refuse to see the truth. My more high vibrational Taurus, Virgo, Gemini, loving nature is trying to get me to listen to my intuition. There are some old ways of being I need to detach from. Maybe hiding behind my ego and wearing a false mask. But they think, no, 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 I don't really want to do love, but I want to be in relationships, so I'm going to go at this again. So then they go back out there in the world, refusing to look at life any differently. Their truth is they operate more from their worldly egoic nature, thinking this is the way to go. I'll look like a shining star. I'm sure my dreams will come into reality. And again, it could be being codependent. I'm looking to get in relationship with other people for them to be the answer to my problems. But then some of those people get in the relationship with people, they think you are the answer to my problems. All my problems will go away. All my mental conflict, all my feeling backstabbed and betrayed will go away. You are the answer to all my problems. Just like some people look to drugs and alcohol to be the answer. But the thing is, as they move forward in relationships, all those things still manipulate them. And it's like, wait a minute. I thought if I exchanged resources with you and got in a relationship with you, that all those things were going to go away. Well, you must not be the answer. You must not be the right person for me. I need to end the relationship with you and I need to go find someone else to be the answer to my problems. And that's when some people always stay in this more codependent energy. Because they don't invest in dealing with the truth within themselves about these things that make them feel stuck, maybe in feeling in lack mentality, maybe feeling left out in the cold, or not feeling good enough, because they don't offer love to themselves. And they haven't looked at life from a higher perspective. And they're going to go back out and repeat the pattern with someone else. And, you know, for some, others of them, they just are more immature and materialistic and more about themselves and trying to find someone who will indulge them. And they might have we could all have been more indulgent of people when we were younger. But other people have been in other relationships and they've kind of learned lessons in life. And people aren't willing to put up with some of the same shit that they did when they were younger. And it's like some of these people still have a very immature viewpoint of relationships. Like they don't like change. No, I want to keep doing it like that. It's like, yeah, but you're acting kind of like a 21-year-old and you're maybe 45, 55, or 65. And the other people don't want to go back to being like in a more immature way of viewing life and relationships like they did at age 21. But these people still want to. Well, they might have to go get in a relationship with someone who's much younger than them, who's still kind of got some lessons learned themselves and kind of naive and gullible, who will view them as like this stable, grounded, loving family person that they can manifest their dreams with until they find out the truth too. And then it'll probably end. And the people who might stay in a relationship with them might be the people who also are in more codependent energy, more about operating from their worldly egoic nature? Does it have status? Does it have image? Does it look like I have these things of the world that I want? I'm good. It just won't be inspired by truth and love. It's more trying to create an illusion in your life. Some people have seen the truth, and to a degree, everybody's seen the truth. If some people got in relationships and they thought, oh no, I have this fear about love, but I'm sure if I get in a relationship with a loving person, I'll do love. Well, then they got in a relationship with loving people, and then it was like, oh shit, I guess I'm not really ready to do love. So then, now they know they're being deceptive and manipulative, where before they maybe thought they would do it and do love and get out of their ego or be more about themselves. Well, now there's no excuses. Now it definitely is. It's not learning lessons. They know the truth. I don't want to do love. And I just think there's consequences for our actions. And sometimes people like to present themselves as these stable, grounded, I'm like a shining star person, pillar of community. Shadowy Taurus, shadowy Aquarius, shadowy Cancer. Where people try to present themselves as these just and fair, stable, grounded pillars of society, motivated and inspired by truth and love and justice and fairness, male or female. But that's not really the truth of who they are. But they really think they can deceive and manipulate people about the truth of who they are. But eventually, when you're younger and you're kind of hiding the truth of who you are and you are more immature or bossy or selfish or whatever, you can fool some of the people. But as time keeps going by and based on the decisions people keep making, eventually more people probably realize the truth that some of these people aren't who they say they are. It's like, I think you're more about the world than love, or you wouldn't have backstabbed the people in your life that you could have stayed in relationship with who harness these energies in a high vibrational way. I think you create an illusion about who you are. And for some of those people, that is what will really make them feel stuck. Because if they know they're not like an authentic, loving person and they are more about themselves or immature or just have a lot of fears and insecurities they don't deal with or whatever, other people are going to see the truth. When you complete the 10 of cycles, you come out with the Ace of Swords. And there could be people in their life who were moving forward with them, still caught up in the illusion or being loving and encouraging people in their life. But as they keep unwilling to change their more immature, whatever, defensive ways of being, even those people can't stay in denial of the truth anymore. And some of the people that were kind of more loving and encouraging people, even some of those people are like, you know what, you do you. I'm not going to pretend like I don't know the truth of who you are. You can go wear your false mask to someone else also. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Gemini energy that they might not see coming up? Okay, we have a card not showing itself, and the reason it came out is because of the Five of Wands. So, when we offer the one wand of the Page of Wands to the Four of Wands, we come out with the Five of Wands. When we look at life from a higher perspective to get out of our being more stubborn and egoic and aligned with our more worldly nature, and we are inspired to look at life differently and expand our perception of ourselves and the world around us, and instead of working with our more worldly, immature nature, we start to work with our more creative, inspired, intuitive nature of self. And we start to listen to our intuition about If I take this action, that's probably not going to work out. I've already been there and done that, and that didn't work out. So I need to quit doing that if I don't want that to work out. And I need to get more balance within myself and incorporate the lessons that I've learned from these past life experiences with people into my philosophy of life and how I move forward and who I invest my time, energy, and effort into. And I have dealt with some people who present themselves as loving and they're not. And the end result of all of this is your foundation took inspired action to change. The fives talk about change. And instead of trying to change other people, I'm going to accept that people are where they're at. And you have the free will to live your life the way you want to live it. And I'm going to move on. And if you don't want to move forward in a more just and fair or balanced or authentic or loving relationship, then okay, enjoy your life. But our truth is different. And I changed me. And some people never thought you would change you, that you'd keep putting in work to change them. It's like, I'm done trying to change you. I see the truth. You have mental conflict about looking at life differently. So I accept it. I've seen the truth. You live your life the way you want, and that's not my truth, so I'm leaving. The Emperor is also, I view it as Aries energy. We all, in our fire sign energy, we thought we were the boss, and oh no, I want these things. I'm sure these things will work out. I'm going to go pursue these things. I'm going to try to change these people. I'm going to get them to open up, be more just, be more fair, be more balanced, be less immature, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, what I need to go do is go find the people in the world who've learned some of the same lessons I have. Quit trying to change other people, because also it can take years and decades to learn some lessons. We don't have years and decades. We have a dream we want to bring into reality. I need to work with people who have kind of learned some of the same lessons as I have. And if I'm motivated by being in a more authentic, loving relationship and have my ideas of what I think is just and fair in a relationship, I need to get in a relationship with people who are operating from that same foundation so we can start to build that. And you're no longer more about yourself, no longer thinking you're the boss. It's kind of like, when we were like, oh no, God, I know this person's stubborn or this person's immature or whatever. Oh no, I'm going to change them. And God's like, that's interesting, because I have been working with them all their life and all these other people in the world that have been good examples and loving and nurturing, and they keep not wanting to see the truth of it. And they're over here like this. And then you came along and you're like, oh no, I'm going to change them. I think you are kind of deceiving yourself. It's good to offer people peace and love and joy. And then we keep moving on, maintaining balance within ourselves. And accept that people are where they're at. It's like, oh, well, you're still immature and I've kind of grown out of that. Or you're more bossy and controlling and I'm not bossy and controlling. Or, you're more materialistic. I just want to balance. Enough is enough. I don't need it all. And some people are like, oh my God, I need it all. That we're on different pages. So I accept that you kind of view life differently and have a different dream. Maybe a more worldly dream or more about yourself dream. And my dream is to work together with people in love. And we're not on the same page. And that's kind of more what we should be doing. Treat everybody the way you like to be treated, with love and respect. But the people who aren't doing love, no. You're still in the grade behind me or something, And I'm looking for the people who've changed. And the Emperor in high vibe is being a good leader in your own life. And having learned all these lessons, the Emperor is about harnessing all four kings, that you've learned all these lessons, and maybe before you, the last one some people had to learn was kind of letting their loving nature drive their life off into the ditch. Because just like some people can make money most important in their life, or being defensive and self-protective the most important thing in their life, when they do that, they can get out of balance because they think other things are less important. And we have the four suits of tarot: our heart and our mind and our 3D world and our creative, like, passionate nature. And some people were letting their more loving nature not being balanced within themselves, and respecting all four aspects within myself are important. And I might be motivated by love, but it also has to be just and fair and act with character and integrity and be inspired and based on truth and love. And when I let my heart run my life, it kind of throws my life out of balance, and the other aspects of my life can kind of go in the toilet. And for other people, they've been living so much from their mind instead of their heart. It's really tipped their life out of balance, or their self-protective nature, or their more worldly nature, or indulging their more immature nature. I don't have to grow up. That's not important. It's like, well, other people who are more mature want to be in other relationships with other people who are more mature. What's coming up? So I think you'll have new beginnings, and I think the fives can also kind of represent being in balance, because there's a maximum of 10. And you're moving forward, keeping life in perspective, not getting caught up in your ego, in your head, and you're more being deceived and manipulated by, your more immature worldly nature. You're making good decisions in your life. You really have changed, and other people will see that, and other people will want to be in a relationship with you. And some of those people are kind of shadowy. Oh, I don't like the relationship I'm in. I can't deceive and manipulate them. I'm going to see if I can come deceive and manipulate you. Or I'm kind of more immature. The other person already saw it. I'm going to see if I can hide the truth from you. You're always going to have shadowy people who are going to try to be the next person to indulge himself in a relationship with you. And I think as you move forward, you will get to know people, and you'll listen to your intuition. And even if there might be people that you'd kind of like to manifest with, or you could be attracted to, or you have love for, if they haven't changed, or other people have this inner conflict, new people you'd meet, I'm not doing that again. If people haven't changed and gotten out of being more about themselves or their ego, or wanting to get in relationships for reasons other than love, you can go get in a relationship with someone else. And the people who are on the same page as you are the people you'll move forward with. What's coming up for the people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Gemini that they might not see coming? The Empress and the Three of Pentacles. Why? Because of the Six of Cups. Well, for one thing, when other people in the world, are being more immature or bossy or controlling or whatever, there's going to be other people, more high vibrational people in their life that could have love for them, that would like to work together with them and be in a relationship with them. But eventually those people, want to work together with other people who work together with them. Harnessing high vibe Libra, Taurus, Scorpio, Capricorn. People who have reconciled themselves with the past by offering love to it, to be free of it, and to be in a just, fair, deep, meaningful relationship. But the other kind of more worldly, shadowy people, they like repeating this old pattern, and they're more in love with the past and a way of viewing life and living life, and they want to repeat that old pattern, versus where you listen to love and intuition and you give birth to your own new thing. My relationship that I get into, I don't expect it to be just like my mom or dad's. There's other people that no, we got to do it just like they did it, because I don't want to take that creative, inspired action to love and believe in myself and create my own thing. I want to follow this template like other people in my life did. I'm going to do what they did. Well, for one thing, those people could have gotten married 40 or 60 or 80 years ago. Life was different then. We don't view life. And some people are like, but I don't want to do life any different. I like that. That's how I want to live life. And that can be some people stuck in a time warp. And there's other people who like people being codependent because then it makes them feel like they're a loving person. The only thing is they get in relationships with people and they can be loving. But then when the other people kind of free themselves from things that manipulate them and they're ready to move forward in life differently, that's when these people are like, well, now I don't want to be in the relationship with you because now it's kind of more equal give and take, and I like a more codependent relationship. I like people not loving and believing in themselves or feeling stable and grounded within themselves. So they view me as loving, and I kind of get indulged in my ego in the relationship. And I'm like the parent, and they're like the child. Or I'm like the boss, and they're like the employee. Or shadowy Scorpio could be just people. High vibe people were willing to change. Shadowy people want to repeat an old pattern. They don't want to change. And some of them are more superficial and shallow, and that's the type of relationship they want to be in. And that could be what makes them feel comfortable. And other people want a more deep, meaningful relationship. So they're always going to have some people that were more high vibrational that are going to give birth to new foundations with people that do work together with them more cooperatively in love and aren't willing to keep indulging them. And so then, because they have this way of viewing life, again, they're probably going to not view life any differently. Might feel stuck that it didn't work out. But the way they view life and the way they cope and the things that they think are good ideas, they're probably going to go do that exact same thing again with someone else. And it's probably, they can get people to stay in a relationship with them for their own reasons. But if they're not authentically being loving and it's more from an ulterior purpose, it's not going to end up being loving. Both people have to be operating from a foundation of love. Both people have to have changed. Both people have to be inspired by love and truth. And some of these people think, no, I can just present myself as loving, and that'll be enough for people to stay in a relationship. I'll just go find someone who I don't think loves and believes in themselves. The only thing is, well, if that person doesn't love and believe in themselves, what drives and motivates them to be in a relationship? They might have their own patterns and ways of viewing life that they don't want to change either. They're not maybe very inspired. They might have a lot of things that manipulate them and get them caught up in their head that they haven't healed from. And it will maybe be just repeating a pattern of the past, which, just means people don't change and they don't grow and they don't heal and they don't kind of grow to their full potential. They might have all these things that they could make their life about or indulge in. And to them, that's maybe living the dream. But it's just that they put an end to manifesting who they could have been if they had looked at life differently and had that more hopeful, believing spirit and were willing to get out of their ego and past pain and heartbreak, or to live their more authentic life, because the Five of Wands in High Vibe Leo is about being free from those things that manipulate you to live your more authentic life. And some people just want to make their life about repeating this old pattern or conforming to the world and not live their authentic life. And other people are going to be bold and brave enough to get out from behind the mask, to go manifest their dreams and live their authentic life. So there you go, Gemini energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.